So when we are using the term evidence, we are using a general term that is both grounds and backing. Let me give an example to clarify this. So I might say something like, so I just adopted a new cat. So I might say something like, I posted a picture of my new cat on social media. Well, if I was being more specific, what I would actually say is I posted a picture of my new cat on Twitter and on Instagram, because both Twitter and Instagram are social media. And so that's an analogy for both backing and grounds are evidence. So when we say I'm using backing, we're saying I'm using evidence, but it's a specific type of evidence. And when I say I'm using grounds, I'm also using evidence. It's just a very specific type of evidence. So both grounds and backing are evidence, but grounds and backing are two different types of evidence, and then that explanation gets a little bit more confusing. To clarify that, I think we need to start with a claim and a reason, an enthymeme. And so the claim plus reason, the enthymeme, now reads, for-profit zoos should be banned in the United States because the animals become dependent on humans for survival. You may be going, why are you talking about a claim and a reason, so an enthymeme, when I asked you a question about grounds and backing? That's because your claim plus your reason, your enthymeme, is going to help you generate your grounds and backing. Remember, both which are evidence. Okay, so your grounds is going to support your enthymeme, your claim plus your reason. And so you need to find evidence that supports the claim that you're making. For-profit zoos should be banned in the United States because the animals become dependent on humans for survival. So prove that animals become dependent on humans for survival. So that is what your grounds is. Your grounds always supports the enthymeme. Your backing supports your warrant, and the warrant is the trickiest part of the Toulmin model because the warrant is not something that is listed clearly, it's something that is implied. And sometimes when you're making an argument, you do not even realize what you are implying with that argument, but it is embedded within the argument, you just have to be able to pull it out. So the warrant is implied in the enthymeme. So again, the enthymeme is for-profit zoos should be banned in the United States because the animals become dependent on humans for survival. So there is some sort of unstated value that that enthymeme is making, or that you as a writer are making in that enthymeme. What do you think that unstated value is that you just expect your audience to agree with? You can pause this video and think about it, or I'll just give you a couple seconds to think about it. So it's the unstated value in that enthymeme. Boop, 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 beep, 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 beep. Dee, 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 dee. Boop, 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 boop. Dee, 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 dee. All right, time's up. So the unstated value or assumption, the thing that you expect the audience to grant, even though you didn't say it explicitly, is that it is bad when animals become dependent on humans for survival. So that is a claim that you are making, even though you're not making it explicitly, and you expect the audience to agree with it. Now, if that claim is controversial, meaning intelligent people could disagree, then you have to provide backing for that warrant. And this is actually, the warrant in this case is actually controversial. So your warrant is, it is bad, or it is a problem, or it is unhealthy, or whatever your judgment call is, for animals to become dependent on humans for survival. Well, I mean, I've got a cat who is meowing at the door, wanting to come in right now. My cat is dependent on me for survival. My black Labrador is dependent on me for survival. So I'm sitting here thinking, do you really mean that it's a problem for like all animals? But that's what your warrant says. So you need to prove that it is a problem, or it is bad, or whatever, however you're writing that warrant, for animals to become dependent on humans for survival. Now, here's another thing where we want to talk about qualifiers. And I can't remember if your textbook authors at this point in the textbook are talking at all in detail about qualifiers. But the same reason that I rewrote that claim to say for-profit zoos rather than just zoos in general. Wait, how did I start that sentence? It's the end of my work week. Let me try that one more time. The original claim said zoos should be banned. I added a qualifier which said for-profit zoos should be banned because I think it is really difficult to disprove the argument zoos should be banned because some zoos are really important for rehabilitation and many of them are nonprofits, that actually have the mission of helping injured animals, rehabilitating injured animals. So the same thing. I would argue the same thing for your because clause. Because the animals become dependent on humans for survival. I think what you're really concerned about is wild animals, right? Not domesticated animals, wild animals becoming dependent on humans for survival. So you might want to add that kind of qualifier to say, I'm not talking about all animals, I'm talking about wild animals specifically, and then in that case, your backing could just be proving that it is a problem for wild animals to become dependent on humans for survival.